Okay, first off, I am fuming because last night I tried doing a paint and it didn't work out so well. So, oh yeah, just ignore this. Like, my paint water and me drinking glass. I like to live dangerously, as you can see. But this is the source of all of my problems. Okay, so, yeah, I'm just gonna get into it in the video. I had 3 videos planned. I basically made them, halfway through deleted them, and then when I came to this video I was like, this one I'll definitely do, and then things happened and it was like, luck is not on my side. So yeah, I'm gonna like lift all these books and you will see what the problem is. Underneath all those books was this. This is the cause of my misery. Okay, so thank you Overwatch book and all these other very thick tomes to place on top to make this flat, because as you can see, I tried painting this last night. I was getting ready, everything was sorted, I had this whole video set up just to fucking record this thing, and then when I taped it down it started to buckle up like a freaking pancake. Wasn't working. Was not a happy camper. But you know why I'm mad? It's because like this, normal, okay, normal things happen, but why I'm fuming is that I basically why I'm fuming, that's the paper. This is expensive paper that every single YouTuber kind of, you know, recommends because they're in America and everything. And this is the exact same paper and this is what I get. It looks like nail varnish. Okay, what the heck? And the way it dries? What the frick? What is happening there? I'm fuming. It's ridiculous when people online recommend something and then I just have to realise that, oh yeah, I'm in the UK. So yeah, I'm in the UK, what works for me here doesn't work for them, and what works for them doesn't work for me. So I have to do a mistranslation again. Not only do I have to mistranslate things like grade school means secondary, colour means is colour with a U in our place, and now if they recommend watercolour paper with fucking cold press that they keep saying, oh, this is so important to have, turns out this is just a load of bollocks. Go wrong when people recommend something it doesn't work. It's totally fine. I'm not actually angry at artists online for this. That's totally fine. It's probably just our local area. I'm not actually angry at them. I'm more frustrated at the paper. I'm just frustrated because I tried to paint something and it went out wrong. Because for example, I didn't use that paper because it's expensive. And it is. It was very expensive. Everything else I've been using is cheap. I was building up my skill set. So I was thinking by the time I'm actually good, you know, at watercolour and everything, by the time I'm decent at it, I could then use the expensive paper, freaking expensive paper, so that way I can make something brilliant. But yeah, this is my first go at watercolour. As you can see, not that great. And then this was my second go at watercolour. Again, not that fantastic, but as a first go, this is what made me realise that watercolour is something I can do because I can kind of do it type of thing. I'm decent at it. Like acrylic, I don't understand. Watercolour, I did. So at that point, I was like, great, I finally figured out the thing I want to do. So then I started going and experimenting again. Here. And I made this one. Again, not as great because there's some fringing happening, there's not much control. I think I overwatered the whole thing. I didn't even try the hair because I was pretty much scared. I messed up the ear. So again, I'm looking at this, I'm thinking I will not waste expensive paper with paint and everything. But as you can see, like some techniques I wanted to do wasn't working with this. Even the proof pen looks naff, and I'm mostly confused. Did this one too, and as you can see, this is a massive improvement. This is a massive improvement compared to this. As you can see, if you're like comparing the two, the skin actually looks great. I didn't do all of the hair completely because at that point so I got like scared, and as you can see, at least with this, some water techniques worked out the way I wanted them to, which is why I'm fuming. And the second part is I was building on my skill sets just to use the expensive one after, because at this point I use digital. I am a digital artist. I only use, like, I use digital 70% of the time, and I use watercolor 30%. So if I was using watercolor, like, consistently, first off, I wouldn't have any content for videos, and number two, I would actually be much better with watercolors because I'll be doing all my time 24/7 using watercolors, and it's freaking amazing. So then this was the second runner-up, and the recent one that I literally did yesterday was this one. Will you take a look at that? So I did this yesterday. Okay, that first drawing that I did this in February 2019. This I did... What's the date today? Forget. This I did in 2021. So basically I have improved a lot in like a year. I got so many techniques, I did great, but this paper isn't good for watercolor. The hair looks very streaky and messy. You can still see pencil and the kicker. Some of the paper lifted and has this weird mark, but it gives it a very good effect. But as you can see, how it blurs and then fades a bit, and then it fringes, and then you have like the gradient of going from yellow into blue for the background. Guess what? That didn't happen here. That happened. This happened. Paper buckled, and I'm just thinking, what the fuck? And then here's the piece de resistance, the thing that has just pushed me into Fuminville, and the reason why I'm really pissed right now. When it comes to the UK, we only have a few select art shops, and some of them don't even tell you if we have cold press. It only tells you this, acid free, and that's pretty much it. It tells you nothing, okay? And this is the cheapest of cheap. This is garbage. I freaking do not like this one. Oh. From far away, it doesn't look that bad, does it? But when you kind of ease in and see the detail, it's a bit fuzzy, and the paper lifts up. It literally looks like I've colored this in felt tip pen. You know, like the really shitty cheap ones that you get for Christmas when you're a kid? Yeah, so this is watercolor paper, full watercolor, and it looks like crap cheap felt tip pen was used on it, not watercolor. So this is like the cheapest of the cheap. And yet, these techniques, especially with how that one pretty much blurred together and how it all looks, at least that looks like a turnip. I wasn't aiming for a turnip, but at least it looks like something compared to this, which is expensive. You would think this was the cheap one, especially since none of the techniques, none of the feathering, none of the whole flat looks, none of the fine liners. This thing just soaks up so much water, and I swear to God, this feels like the cheap one, and this feels like the expensive one. And that's the kicker. This is the cheap paper, and this actually has the effects of like a gradient going on. This has lots of like watercolor effects that I wanted to go for. This literally has layering and looks fantastic. I was really upset because I was about to diss the shit out of this paper thinking, this is terrible, meh. So I'm not even finished this yet, but as you can see with the background, none of the effects like look great. And even here on the skin when I was trying to do a flat wash, again it was buckling like a pancake, and so all the water was just going all over the place. So yeah, the reason why I'm mad is because I was waiting a year. 2 years actually, from 2019. I bought this expensive lovely paper. There's only a few sheets left. I can't use the whole thing. And I was waiting to build up. I felt like I couldn't use this yet. I was preparing myself type of thing to use this paper. So yeah, I'm pretty much fuming. And the only reason I'm fuming is because I'm thinking, this is not the first time this has happened. Again, I'm not yelling at watercolor artists because for some reason it does work for them. That's why I'm freaking out, because it feels like an illusion or some sort of elaborate prank, because they literally use this and they make brilliant works of art, and yet when I try to do it, it's just not happening, and I'm genuinely confused. So I'm thinking the only difference is is that they're in America or Australia, wherever they're from, and I'm in the UK. Our temperature is different. Maybe it's because it's hotter over there, maybe it's different climates, maybe it's because I'm next to the seaside, maybe it's smoggy, who knows? Either way, my art supplies do not work the same way as majority of people on the internet. And I'm just thinking, am I the only person who's dealing with this? Because even artists in the UK on YouTube don't mention it. Nobody mentions this. So am I just really, really that unlucky? Or is it an actual thing? Is majority of other UK people like me who's buying things that YouTube people recommended and realised that this shit isn't good? So yeah. If so, then at least I know I won't be the only one, but if I'm the only one, then maybe I'm just really, really fucking unlucky. So this tangent is basically me screaming at the void of the universe that everything was going wrong, not against people, because again, it seems to be working well for them, it's just not working for me, and I just want to know why. That's why I'm fuming, is because I can't even ask anybody. I've got no one to ask, because my local area, I'm pretty much the only artist I know, because majority of other artists I know are kind of furry persona community people. They draw furries and they do digital art and they don't really do stuff like this. So yeah, I'm pretty much alone at the moment. So basically I'm going to try again and keep going because I want to prove a point with this piece. So I got my whole camera set up. The curtains are closed even though it's daylight. So yeah. So I'm pretty much just going to finish this picture and see what happens. And then rant through the whole video while it's happening. So enjoy! I'm pretty much taking a break and this is starting to look really scary and fugly as hell. I tried my best. The thing is, I was so angry and frustrated and dealing with this camera because this camera, for some reason, if you take too long, it kind of shuts off, and the footage that I was doing, I actually thought it was not recording and it was deleted, so I was freaking out. Turns out it's fine. It wasn't deleted. Yay! Fantastic! But basically I was so focused on putting in the shadows because I didn't plan this. I'm just chucking everything on, and I wanted to do a dark-skinned character, and I kind of forgot how to do the fundamentals. I forgot how to do simple shapes. I forgot to do little shines underneath. There's supposed to be a gap underneath the lower lip, like a little highlight thing. I forgot how to do a nose, so I'm gonna fix that. I will fix the nose eventually. And yeah, I'm so focused on trying to do darker skins that I wasn't really paying attention to how I was actually putting highlights or the shadows on the picture itself. So I'm waiting for it to dry before going over it again and trying to fix the mess I've just made. So yeah, wish me luck on that. And yeah, I was basically lying. I don't live dangerously. That's my cup of tea on the side there, so I don't mix it up with the actual watercolours. And again, speaking of dark skins, because I might as well include this, is that when it comes to the whole art supplies, I am really pissed off with people online saying one thing and then when I buy them it's a totally different story. But for some reason I've actually found some UK artists online who don't say anything, so I'm confused because I'm thinking, are they in on it, or do they not have the same problems as me, or are they you know, the rich people who buy the expensive shit so they don't have this problem. So it's basically I found a UK artist online who was talking about skin tones, about how you can use red, blue and yellow, mix them all up to get this little grey thing, and you can make a ton of skin colours. This is too much stress for me, especially when it comes to like darker colours and everything, and trying to do darker skin and all that jazz, because from what I realise is that some things can actually either look green or could look very red or orange. And yeah, some of the skin colours don't quite work out, and some have bits of blue in it. I don't know how that happened. So I think even for an intermediate person, even if I was a beginner or even a professional, this would be a bit too faffy for me. because you had to keep the ratio of like how many like reds to blues to yellows you have to mix up, all that, just to get this one specific, because they're all different every single time you try to add more color to get more of it in, and trying to recreate the same color. I could probably want this skin tone and end up with that one. Basically waiting for this to dry, and I think I realized, because like when I'm sitting, I had to sit this way because with the camera on I can't exactly sit on top of it, so when you look at it vertically it kind of looks okay, but I feel like her hair is a bit too tiny. I feel like I need to have to go over it again to make it like more spread, so at least that way it looks like it's sorry, I'm used to putting the hand next to the camera. It's like, hello everyone. So I have to figure out how to make this much bigger, just to make it like a halo effect. And again, the reason why I used dark skin along with this whole video is that I thought, you know what would be great to do a kind of mini explanation of watercolor artists, showing how difficult it is to do dark skin characters when they're like me, beginners. Like if you're intermediate then maybe, but so many people online always get this for whitewashing. I know someone's probably, you know, this piece, I was shitting myself. Okay, this, even though a majority of it is white, like the paper, I was fucking terrified. Okay, you don't know how stressful like watercolors are, and so when you do darker tones like this, like I'm shaking. I'm literally shaking because it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna ruin it. So yeah, her nose came out horrible, but I fixed it. I made it look better. Yay! Her ear is too small though. I felt like the more I was blocking the ear in, the less it was looking. And when it came to the hair, I wanted the hair to blend in with the skin, you know, like have a little fade effect like Kellogg's Loops has. But again, when I did it, I forgot that this paper is still not straight. It's still buckled. It's not completely flat. So that means it was pooling here. So in the video I had to like lift all the water because I knew once it dried it would do a horrible little fringe. It's already doing it here in the corner. The hair looks great though. I liked putting the blue underneath as a little highlight and doing the dark colours on top. But the thing is, I wanted this to be darker. Like for example, hold on. So it's the dark umber here that I'm using. So when you put it down and flat, see how dark that is when you like first do it, or when you like go over it over and over again, it goes really, really dark. So that's the colour I wanted to have, but it went lighter like it does there on here. So it got to the point where I wanted it to be very, very dark here and spread out. At least that way, so it's like dark on the top and then it lights up as it's going on, and I thought that would be a cool effect. But for some reason the water seems to just suck everything up, and so when the water was on top I had to completely drown it, and then it started pooling. So it got to the point where I'm thinking, if I put watercolour on, it's not gonna, how can I describe it? Okay, you know, see it in the corner here, how it's like faded a bit? I wanted that for the fringe. But if I laid it on top, it wouldn't have this effect where it's like fading a bit. It'll look like these little ones here. When the camera focuses. So you know how like thick straight lines it is, and so it's like proper opaque, but this is more translucent. So I wanted it to be opaque. I mean, no, I wanted it to be translucent. I wanted it to be like flowy, like blurring together. But if I laid it on, it would have laid on as you know, opaque and everything, and it would have been, I wish I could describe it better, but I literally can't. So it's like I wanted it to blur in, but if I thingied it on, it would have fringed, like had this little fringe effect on top of the hair. And so, yeah, this is me rambling while I'm waiting for it to dry. Like, that's another peeve I have with watercolours, is that while I'm waiting for one thing to dry, I pretty much just grab, like, a sketchbook on the side, and I'll start faffing with this and, like, practicing colour essentials and everything, and just experimenting with that while I wait for this to dry. And then once that dries, I come back to this. So I'm just hopping back and forth, like, you know, to do it. But yeah. So yeah, once this dries, I'm going to go over the hair again and then try to, like, just keep darkening the top part and then have the bottom part like this, because I love the blues, like the turquoise that I use underneath. Like, I freaking love that, and I think I might try doing that with all my other art pieces. And what I plan on doing once the whole thing's dry and the whole thing's done is getting the gold and retouching up the background area, because if I lift these little hexagon things, you're going to be able to see it. Like, it'll probably be like, there's no point in me putting these hexagons there except for the whole head. So I'm going to retouch up on that and then use one of these things, not this specific colour or anything, but what you do is I'm pretty much just going to get this bit and use that bit as fine liner and just go over her hair and everything and put lots of, like, details and everything. And yeah, so this is the reason why majority of watercolor artists especially don't do dark skin colors unless they are professionals. But again, if you see people on Twitter who are using watercolors and it's a dark skin tone, it's like sometimes it's obvious that they're using dark skin tones, but when it comes to colours, you either have to, like, spend money to get darker skin tones, like, separately, and sometimes they have a granulation, sometimes they don't look as good. Even paints that have these colours, I've noticed I have these. So yeah, every time I do skin colours, I always mix up yellow ochre with burnt sienna, and if I want to do dark skin colours, I'm just limited to burnt umber, and that is it. That is literally the only skin colours I have. And then this one, and you can instantly tell when you compare it that it kind of looks different. And it is. Like, these ones, when they're a light wash, looks the same, but that one's more brown and this one's more, like, darkish. That one's more red, this one's more orange-ish and everything. So even the colours themselves are so different and inconsistent. And it's kind of ridiculous, especially when, you know, you have no idea what you're doing for skin tones, because you have to do a light wash and you just build and build and build and build. And yeah, I've just seen, yeah, and to help me out, I'll kind of, like, put them here just to see what I'm doing, because, like, my problem is that you look at these to see what the colours are, then you look at that and you're probably much thinking majority of this is black, majority of this is probably different colours, but this side I always struggle because I don't know what is what. I'm like, okay, I know these are black, but what kind of black, you know? And again, you look at these colours and you're like, I don't know what these are, and it looks darker on the palette, but when you actually put it down, it looks a totally different colour. So yeah, so this is pretty much the semi-final product. Semi, because I need to get trying to do this one-handed. Need to use this brush, this tiny little fantastic little brush here. I'm putting the details of the face, like the eyes and everything, so I'm going to be recording that soon. And then put these little marks here to show, like, the little ringlets that I've got going on. So yeah, basically fucked up me little blue area that I was really happy with, but that's what happens when you try your best. And filled in the background with, like, the whole aqua and gold colours, because I really liked how these looked and I thought it looked amazing. So yeah, everything's going so like everything's fine so far. Yeah, so I really do not want to spoil this, so I'm trying the best I can here. So here's me doing the final touches. So yeah. Okay guys, at this point my camera ran out of footage, and so I couldn't really discuss or talk about this final part that I wanted to talk about, and that was basically everything seemed to be going fine. Everything was going alright, but once I removed the hexagon tape, the paint either bled through because it wasn't pressed on good enough, or when I did remove it, the paper ripped off because it was stuck on a bit too much, and so at that point I couldn't win. So I was really frustrated with the masking tape, and yeah, when you look at the final product it kind of feels a bit iffy. So up close it doesn't look great, and it kind of makes me want to cry because I can't do one of those like zoom out shots with looking over all the details like every other artist online can do. But it's like from far away it looks great, like from far away it looks decent, especially for this kind of paper. But other than that, not a huge fan of this paper. I don't love it. It doesn't feel any different. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like the paper's actually really good, but with how much money it was and comparing it to the paper that I already use along with cheap paper, and yeah, it's kind of depressing when you think about it, because like I was expecting Gucci. I was expecting to feel like it was paper that was for me. I felt like I was expecting to be treated like using the paper and going, now this is watercolor paper. Like I wanted that feeling, right, where you're just like doing it and you're just going, yes, this is what I wanted. None of that. I just felt frustrated. I felt like I could have done the same thing on my cheap paper that I got from the works, and that's why I'm a bit disappointed, really. And I feel like if I used any other techniques, things like fringing, bleeding, flat colours, none of that was working the way I wanted it to. But other than that, final product wise, I think I might have jumped the gun a bit, but I wouldn't get this paper again. That's what I'm saying. It's like, why would I bother getting this paper when I could just get other types of watercolour paper? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you like the piece. I tried really hard on it. I really did. I wanted to scream when the paper ripped. It really hurt, like physically. Ugh, couldn't do it again. So that's pretty much my art rant. So if any of you guys are artists from the UK yourselves and you have the same problem where you get an art supply and you're thinking, am I the only one? Because everybody in the UK seems to believe in the mantra of keep calm, carry on. It's like if shit happens, we just keep our heads down and we just deal with it. So I just want to know, am I the only one? Or even if I am the only one, at least there's a funny video at the end of the day. Like, you know, but if I'm not the only one, let me know. I just want to know if it's just me, because I've tried to look on Reddit, I try to look on forums, I try to find people online to see if they were the same as me, or if it's just me who's just very unlucky, because every time I buy art supplies, when it comes to pens, they run out, or they're crystallized, or things go wrong. That actually happened where I used the sketchbook, I used watercolor paint, and it crystallized. So I'm really confused. So yeah, if you guys are like me, let me know. If not, well, it's just laugh at how unlucky and how unfair everything is when it comes to art supplies. So yeah, first world problems over here, am I right? So I hope you guys like this video. See you guys in the next one. Bye!